Yesterday, or maybe the day before, I watched a video of Conference Report about his objection to people claiming that the universe is conscious. And then a couple of hours ago, I watched Professor Anton's reply. By coincidence, I was reading this book in between, Darwin, God, and the Meaning of Life: How Evolutionary Theory Undermines Everything You Thought You Knew. It's from Cambridge University Press, and it's by Stewart-Williams. And I was actually on page 151. It begins on 151, and by coincidence, this was sort of funny, I think, if you can see that section, it says the conscious universe. The conscious universe. We see then that mind is not something separate from matter. Mind is a process embodied in matter. With this new perspective under our belt, it becomes impossible to maintain that the mind stands outside nature. Instead, mind becomes a tiny fragment of nature, valued only by those tiny fragments of nature that possess it. When we fully digest this idea, it radically transforms our view of the mind's place in the universe and our view of the universe itself. The physical universe ceases to be an unconscious object observed and explored by conscious minds which somehow stand above or outside it. Conscious minds are part of the physical universe. As soon as we recognize this, we realize that the universe itself is partially conscious. When you contemplate the universe, part of the universe becomes conscious of itself. Similarly, our knowledge of the universe is not something separate from the universe. It is part of the universe. Thus, for humans to know the universe is for the universe to know itself. As Carl Sagan put it, humans are the stuff of the cosmos examining itself. And Darwin's theory explains how this could be so. How clumps of matter could come to be organized in such a way that they are able to contemplate themselves and the rest of the cosmos. The history of the universe looks very different from this perspective. For billions and billions of years, the universe was here and no one knew about it. More to the point, for all that time, the universe itself had no idea that it existed. And then around 13.7 billion years after the Big Bang, and yes, I know somebody is going to tell me there was no Big Bang. I just say, well, accepted scientific theory is that there was, and physicists are almost universally agreed that there likely was a Big Bang. But if you don't want to believe that, it doesn't negate the fact that the universe is aware of itself only in a tiny proportion, and that is only through us, through those human beings. To this point, that's all we know of, who are conscious and self-reflexive and can see that they are aware of the universe. After the Big Bang and almost 4 billion years since life first evolved, something strange began to happen. Tiny parts of the universe became conscious and came to know something about themselves and the universe of which they are a part. Note that this could have happened elsewhere in the universe as well, and perhaps much earlier. Eventually, some of these tiny parts of the universe, the parts we call scientists and scientifically informed lay people, came to understand the Big Bang and the evolutionary process through which they had come to exist. after an eternity of unconsciousness, I don't like the phrasing after an eternity of unconsciousness, but after a period of unconsciousness, the universe now had some glimmering awareness that it existed and some understanding of what it had come from. I think that is just a great summation of this idea that the universe can be conscious of itself. Generally speaking, no, the universe is not conscious of itself in any mystical, phantasmagorical way. But we, as tiny, minuscule parts of the universe, are at a state of consciousness where we are aware that the universe exists. And so, yes, there is a tiny fragment of the universe, us, namely, that is aware of itself, is self-reflexive. That's not really saying a whole lot, but it's saying something specific and something concrete. And I don't think we can say more than that. I think to say more than that is to assert things that can't be proven. So anyway, there is a link in the low bar. I know it's a lot of trouble to be asked to click on a link in the low bar, but if it's a great book, I mean, I think it's really interesting. It's Darwin, God, and the Meaning of Life, Evolutionary Theory, How Evolutionary Theory Undermines Everything You Thought You Knew. It's really brilliant, and if you have a chance and you're interested in the subject from a scientific point of view, get it and read it. It's worth your time. And if you're not that interested, at least read the reviews and check on a couple of links in the low bar if you have the time. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye-bye.